Okay, Your Honor.
Okay, good afternoon. Welcome to the Bear County Court at Law number 6 and the Bear County Veterans Treatment Court plea docket for Thursday, March 25th, 2021, approximately 2:50 p.m. Cases I have on our docket for today: State of Texas versus Juan Guerra Mendez, cause 642-530 and 589-710. State of Texas versus Alfredo Herrera, cause 63667 and 63881. By Mr. Gammon. States are here for trial.
Judge, you're cutting out. What'd you say?
Is Mr. here for Judge Doyle?
Mr.
Joseph Stateson. I'm going to do the plea for Joanne de Hoyos.
Okay, all good.
Judge, I can't understand you. They're going to have to mute. The people are going to have to mute.
Yeah. Anybody who is not doing a plea now needs to mute.
Okay, continue with our afternoon saga. State of Texas versus John Eric Flores, cause 645-740 and 52053, represented by Ms. Beth Settle. State of Texas versus Brandon Ochoa, cause 650-515, represented by Rahim Mamori.
Present, Judge.
State of Texas versus Zyshawn Napier, cause 643-870 and 640-254, represented by Pat Hancock.
Present, Your Honor.
Howdy. State of Texas versus Robert Greaves, cause 63997, represented by Mr. Ivan Barrera.
Present.
State of Texas versus Amanda Mora, cause 635740, represented by Pat Montgomery.
We're here.
Present.
Thank you. State of Texas versus Jamie Kenworthy, cause 646926, represented by Mr. Paul Vasquez.
We are
State of
present.
Texas versus Jonathan Rene Sanchez, cause 651887, represented by Kirby Walland.
Present.
640305, State of Texas versus Ismael Rosas, represented by Bo Woods. And we have 1, 2, 3, 4, plus or minus Veterans Treatment Court, Track 1, pretrial diversion, please. State of Texas versus Charles, Audrey Charles, represented by Austin Hagee, 627-454. State of Texas versus Christopher Rhodes, 641-324 and 65558, represented by Derek Ritchie.
Present, Your Honor.
State of Texas versus David Herrera, cause 640-828, represented by Mary Petruzek. State of Texas versus James Nicholson, cause 654-755 and 654-756, represented by.
Ready, Judge.
Okay, that being said, let's start with Mr. Guerra Mendez, please, since he's Spanish speaker and we have an interpreter, do we not, Pat?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, will the interpreter please state her name for the record? In English or Spanish, it doesn't matter. This is Ms. Carmen Tarragona Saez. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, this is cause 642-530, State of Texas versus Juan Guerra Mendez. And representing Mr. Mendez at this time is Mr. Joseph Stateson. Mr. Guerra Mendez and Mr. Stateson, I need you to identify a couple of documents for me with regard to your signatures allegedly on each. The first document is entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference, which is reportedly signed both by Mr. Guerra Mendez and in this case, Judge Joanne de Hoyos. Mr. Guerra Mendez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Can you hear him, Your Honor? Can you hear her?
No.
Okay, what you need to do is go down to the bottom of your screen.
Right.
To the globe and put it English.
Got it.
Thank you.
Yes, gotcha. Thank you so much. Is Mr. Guerra Mendez agreeing that he has signed the document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference?
You still cannot hear her, Your Honor? You can't hear her, Your Honor?
I can hear Carmen, but Carmen cannot hear the clients.
Is Mr. Guerra Mendez on? I don't see him on our pictures.
Hold on. Let me go this other way and let me check because he was here. You need to unmute, Mr. Guerra. Necesitas, ándale. All right,
Reinicié audio, reinicié audio.
okay.
Ok, ya, ¿no me escuchan?
Would you like me to repeat the question, Ms. Sayas?
Sí,
Mr.
no, yo lo firmé, estoy de acuerdo.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay,
And
okay.
Mr. Stateson, as attorney, co-attorneys with Judge De Hoyos, is this Judge De Hoyos' signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I have is in English and in Spanish. It is entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Right of Appeal, which purports both to have Mr. Guerra Mendez and Judge De Hoyos' signature on it. And Pat, for the record, apparently I missed marking on the English version, quote, is a plea bargain case and the defendant has no right of appeal,
Yes,
unquote.
sir.
So please ensure the clerks mark that for me.
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Guerra Mendez, did you sign both the English and the Spanish version of the trial court certification of defendant's right of appeal?
Sí, sí firmé. O sea, firmé los papeles.
Mr. Stateson? Thank you, sir. And Mr. Stateson, would you agree that this is Judge De Hoyos' signature on both of these documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
You. At this time, Mr. Guerra Mendez, I have two more documents, one in English and one in Spanish, entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition, that purport to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. Mr. Guerra Mendez, is this your signature on both the English version and the Spanish version of this document, sir?
Sí,
Thank you. By signing this document, are you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorneys, Judge De Hoyos or Mr. Stateson, so that in signing this document, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, sir?
sí.
Thank you. Mr. Stateson, as attorney for Mr. Guerra Mendez, have you and Judge De Hoyos had enough time to go over this case with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor, we have had enough time to go over it. In fact, we sent the offer to him in Spanish, and he had an immigration attorney review it. He knowingly, voluntarily entered in to agree. He accepted it. We advised him immigration rights are complicated, but his attorney, immigration attorney, approved it, and we believe he is competent to go forward.
Mr. Guerra Mendez, are you a United States citizen, sir?
No,
Mr. Guerra Mendez, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere for the offense charge may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Guerra Mendez, have you discussed with your and been made aware of the mentioned consequences? And are you still now knowingly wanting to enter a plea to this offense?
pues yo no he, ¿cómo se llama? Hablado con el licenciado de migración, solamente yo lo que entendí es de que voy a estar con la máquina 12 meses y eso es lo que entendí en español, de que voy a estar 12 meses en probation y tengo que soplarle una máquina que se la van a poner al carro y voy a estar bajo supervisión de ustedes durante un año, 12 meses. Eso es lo que yo entendí. Realmente yo no he hablado directamente con el abogado de migración.
Okay, Mr. Stateson, would you have a brief discussion with your client and try to clarify for him, that my concern is I want to make sure he is aware that there are certain bad things that might happen to him if he enters a plea to this crime, which include his deportation, his exclusion from admission to the United States, and his denial of naturalization under federal law. Would you please ask him and explain to him that that's my question and whether he understands that and if he still is interested in going forward on a plea bargain with the state today?
Do you want him to go in a breakout room, Your Honor?
Well, the interpreter is going to interpret for me. Then I'm gonna let
Okay,
you
go
talk.
ahead.
and I'll bet that will fix it.
Mr. Guerra Mendez, could you confirm that Judge Joanne de Hoyos did go over immigration consequences with you, advised you that immigration consequences are always changing, but that this was a DWI is not a crime of moral turpitude, and for you to review the offer with your immigration attorney? Did you review the offer with the immigration attorney?
Bueno, me lo comentó de que yo, ¿cómo se llama? Pues me puede perjudicar, pero no sabía si, como me está en proceso yo y no he tenido nunca, siempre me cambian hasta lo de migración, nunca he tenido yo corte en migración. Entonces, pues se supone que yo aquí estoy en espera para poder arreglar mi proceso, pero pues no sé si yo pueda de alguna manera remediar esto, arreglarlo, no sé, o sea, mi cometido, con horas de servicio, no sé cómo lo pudiese compensar.
Do you wish to have additional time to go over the offer with your immigration attorney?
Mr. Statesman, let me go ahead and read this paragraph to Mr. Guerra Mendez one more time, and then let you chat with him briefly. And if y'all need to go in a breakout room so you can explain to him what I'm trying to tell him,
Yes,
that might be a way to go. So once again, Mr. Guerra Mendez, I'm reading off of a form that is provided to me by the state of Texas. And it says, if you are not a citizen of the United States of America, a plea of guilty or nolo contendere, which we call no contest, for the offense charged may result in your deportation, your exclusion from admission to this country, or the denial of naturalization under federal law. Mr. Guerra Mendez, have you discussed with your attorney and been made aware of the mentioned consequences, and are you still knowingly wanting to enter a plea to this offense?
Pues es que realmente, me siento presionado como me siento para contestar, pero realmente, pues, no sé qué opciones tengo. Si digo que no, ¿qué me va a pasar? Y si digo que sí, pues tengo esa probabilidad de que tenga la deportación, es lo que me están comunicando decir. Si digo que no, no sé qué me vaya a pasar. No, o sea, yo lo que realmente menos quiero es tener problemas con la ley y de alguna manera yo remediarlo. O sea, yo quería hacer un programa o algo, tiempos de ayuda. Yo soy ingeniero, puedo dar clases, no sé. O sea, no sé cómo pueda yo. Pero yo, si tengo que aceptar.
Okay, Mr. Guerra Mendez, I apologize for interrupting. I'm going to ask your attorney, Mr. Statesman, to go out into a breakout room, and we're going to have to explain to you how to do that. There's a button you got to push. And then you and he can talk privately about that question and any way you want to go. If you don't want to enter into a plea bargain today, that's okay. And Mr. Statesman will explain what your options are. But I want to make sure that you understand all the possible problems you might have if you go on probation with us. And there may be problems if you don't go on probation with us. I'll let your attorney explain that to you. So, Pat, at this time, if you would send Mr. Statesman and Mr. Guerra Mendez into a breakout room. And
I'm going to send the interpreter as well. Carmen, room 2, Mr. Staten, room 2, and I'll try to explain to him how to get into it.
Un rectángulo azul.
Okay, did we get everybody?
Not yet, Your Honor. I think they're in there. I think so. I think everybody's in there, Your Honor. Go ahead.
I have the same problems communicating every time I talk to Gammon. Okay, let's go ahead and put this on the side for the second and get on to the other ones that we've got pending. So we'll put Mr. Guerra Mendez over there. I have cause number 645-740 and 652-053, State of Texas versus John Eric Flores, represented by Beth Settle. Cause 650-515, State of Texas versus Brandon Storm Ochoa, represented by Rahim Mamori. Cause 643-870, State of Texas versus Napier, or Zyshawn Napier, represented by Pat Hancock. Apparently, there's also another case, 640-254. It's going to be TIC'd on this one, represented by Pat Hancock. Okay. Got cause 633-997, State of Texas versus Robert Lauren Greaves, represented by Ivan Barrera. And I've got cause 635-740, State of Texas versus Amanda Desiree Mora, represented by Pat Montgomery. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, I'm asking you, each of you, to identify your signatures on a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference for your cases. Mr. Flores, I have two cases for you. Is this your signature on each of these documents?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Settle, is this your signature as attorney for Mr. Flores on each of these two documents?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ochoa, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Mamori, as attorney for Mr. Ochoa, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Napier, is this your signature on this document in clause 643-870?
It is, Judge.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Hancock, as attorney for Mr. Napier, would this also be your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Mr. Greaves, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Greaves, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Mora, or Miss Mora, excuse me. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
And Mr. Montgomery, as attorney for Miss Mora, is this your signature on this document?
It is, Your Honor.
Thank you. Each of you, the next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition. I purport to have each of your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Flores, is this your signature on this document on both of your cases?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Ochoa, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Napier, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Greaves, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Ms. Mora, is this your signature on this document?
Yes.
Thank you. By signing these documents, for each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety. If you had any questions about what was on these documents, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. But in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Flores, in both your cases?
Yes, Your Honor. I understand.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Ochoa?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Napier?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Is that correct, Mr. Greaves?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Mora?
Yes, Your Honor, I understand.
Ms. Settle, as attorney for Mr. Flores, have you had enough time to go over both these cases with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for attorney for Mr. Ochoa, Mr. Mamori.
Yes, Judge. One issue on this, Mr. Ochoa is a convicted felon, Judge. On the application, the court's forms did not allow us to put that specific information on there. So I want to make that part of the record, Judge, that he is a convicted felon applying for probation, Judge.
Okay, State, do you have an objection of Mr. Ochoa applying for probation even though he has a prior felony record?
No objection, Judge.
Was that no?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mamori.
Yes, sir.
And is that correct, Mr. Napier? I'm sorry, Mr. Hancock, is attorney for Mr.
Yes.
Napier. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Appreciate it. And same question for Mr. Barrera.
We have, Your Honor, and he is mentally competent.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Montgomery, as attorney for Ms. Mora.
He is competent, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Flores, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Ochoa, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Napier.
Yes, sir.
Same question. Thank you. Same question for Mr. Greaves.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Miss Mora.
Yes, sir.
Okay, the attorney for Mr. Flores, in both cases, does the state fully comply with the services?
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Mallory, as attorney for Mr. Ochoa.
Yes, sir.
Same question for Mr. Hancock, as attorney for Mr. Napier.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Barrera, as attorney for Mr. Creed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Montgomery, as attorney for Ms. Mora.
I did, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. Okay, state of Texas versus Flores 645740. Did this start out as a DWI first, or you waived something?
Judges started out as a DWI 0.15 or higher. The state is moving to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
Objection from the defense, that will be granted. Okay, Mr. Flores, in clause 645740, the charge of driving while intoxicated. First offense, how do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Flores in 645740?
6/14, $400 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD/SNP, Smart Start Mobile for half the term, and both of these cases will run concurrent, Judge.
Got it. Defense, is that your understanding of the agreement?
It is, Judge. I did want to ask that you consider probating part of his fine. He's got a child that he's helping to support. He turned over his entire stimulus check to the mother. And the winter storm and COVID has slowed down his landscaping work.
He's supporting his child by getting 2 DWIs in a row? Is that what you're telling me?
I'm sorry, Judge, I could not, you broke up.
I said he's helping to support his child by getting 2 DWIs in a row?
No, that didn't help, Judge.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Flores, about 645740. The court accepts your plea of no contest. I find him guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 14 months. $400 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service. DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, community alliance for traffic safety intervention program, Star Mobile Home interlock for 1/2 the term, and this case to run is 5203. Anything further from the state of the defense on this 45740?
No, Your Honor.
Flores in clause 652053. Once again, state, I apologize. This started out as a DWI higher than DWI first.
It started out as a DWI 0.15, Judge, and we're also waiving the enhancement, proceeding as a
Okay,
DWI.
moving to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement, right? Any objection from the defense?
No objection, Your Honor.
That'll be granted. Therefore, in clause 652053, the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. Mr. Flores, how do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. State is there an agreement for Mr. Flores in 652053?
It's the exact same agreement, Judge. Would you like me to read it again?
I think I got it. I'll run it by you guys when I'm finished to make sure I didn't miss anything. Thank you. Okay, Mr. Flores, in clause 652053, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bear County Jail, probated for 14 months. A $400 fine plus court cost, 36 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, community alliance for traffic safety new intervention program, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 7 months. In this case, will run concurrent with 645-740. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Flores and 652-053?
No, Your Honor. Does he stay on the Zoom to talk to somebody? Or probation?
I have put a chat to everybody. What it says is that anybody who is granted probation will be contacted by probation within 48 hours. If they are not contacted by probation within that 48 hours, it is their responsibility to call probation at 210-335-7200.
No, yes, I got the message, ma'am.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I be excused, Judge?
Yep. Hey, Mr. Flores.
Excuse me. Yes, sir.
One last thing. You now have 2 DWI convictions in the state of Texas. If you get arrested again, it's going to be a felony DWI, and it's going to be a life changer. If you have an empty beer can in your car, if you just drink 1 beer and drive your car and they stop you, they're going to look at your record on their little in-car computer, and you're going to get arrested again, even if you're not intoxicated. So I urge you to stay cool. Don't even think about drinking anything and driving that car, or you're going to have another bad day. We understand each other, sir?
Yes, sir.
Best of luck, sir. Hope you do well. Thank you, Beth.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, Ms. Settle.
Yes.
May I speak with you in a breakout room, or can I call you?
Call me right now. Call
Yes,
me
ma'am.
when we get off. Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, bye-bye.
50515, State of Texas versus Brandon Storm Ochoa. And State, do you have a motion on this case?
Correct, Judge. This started out as a DWI .15 or higher, and the state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
No objections, Your Honor.
But you don't have an objection. All granted. Thank you. Okay. So, Mr. Ochoa, the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
Thank you. Is there an agreement for Mr. Ochoa?
6/12, $300 fine, court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
You understand the agreement?
That is our agreement, Your Honor.
Mr. Ochoa, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $300 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, outpatient drug, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Ochoa?
Not from the defense, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Ochoa. Thank you, Mr. Memori.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Pat.
Okay. 64380 the charge of unlawfully carrying a weapon. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Agreement for Mr. Napier.
14 months deferred adjudication, $300 fine plus court costs, 36 hours community service, an APSE course, motion to forfeit the weapon in both cases, and TIC cause number 640254.
What kind of gun is this? I know it's a pistol, but what maker, manufacturer, whatever, do we know?
Judge, I filed a motion in 640254 to have the Glock that was seized in that case released to me. I don't care about the other gun.
Stay with your permission. I'm going to deny your motion, destroy the weapon, and award it to the attorney as additional attorney's fees with the understanding it will not be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends. Is that agreed, Mr. Hancock?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Your Honor, I'll forward you those.
I'm sorry?
I will forward you those motions.
Yep, thank you. I'm sorry, State, would that be all right with you?
Yes, Judge.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Napier in clause 643-870. The court accepts your plea of no contest to the charge of unlawfully carrying a handgun. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt. Place you on 14 months deferred adjudication probation. It says a $300 fine plus court cost, 36 hours community service, APSE, stress management course. Motion to destroy the weapon is denied. Weapon is awarded to defense counsel as additional attorney's fees with the understanding that it is not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friend. This case will run concurrent with clause 640254. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Napier?
No, Your Honor.
Judge,
Yes, sir.
not to run concurrent, I have TIC cause number 640254.
I'm sorry, we're TIC in it? I apologize.
Oh, thank you.
Back on the record, let's take into consideration clause 640254, which is granted and it shall be dismissed. Is that better, Pat?
That is better, Judge. Thank y'all very much.
All right, thank you.
Pat, I've already sent the motions to the judge right now.
Thank you, Pat.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Greaves, in clause 633997. State, you got a motion on this one too, do you not?
Correct, Judge. This started out as a DWI second. The state moves to waive the enhancement and proceed as a DWI first.
Any objection, defense? I guess not.
No objections, Your Honor.
Okay, that's granted. Mr. Greaves, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, Your Honor.
Agreement for Mr. Greaves.
14 months deferred adjudication, a $500 fine, but probate $100, plus court costs, 48 hours community service that's also probated, DWI intervention, DIP, CAT/SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Okay, let's get to the bottom of it. Is Mr. Greaves the gentleman we've been talking about that is a DOD contractor and spends a good portion of the year overseas in one of those colorful countries assisting the United States of America? Would that be correct, Mr. Burrow?
That is correct, Your Honor.
So as we speak, Mr. Greaves, can you tell me where you are, or is that one of those secret things?
I can tell you I'm in AFRICOM. That's about as much as I can tell you, sir.
For the next 14 months, how much of that time are you going to be overseas? Do you have a feel for that yet?
There's no real telling, sir. I should be here 4 to 6 months, and then after that, I'll be back for a couple months, and then you know what I mean? It comes and goes.
And correct me if I'm wrong.
Still have to come back.
As a DOD contractor, you're under the same regulation number 1 that says you cannot consume alcohol while you're over there. Is that correct?
That is correct, sir. I have documentation I can provide for that.
And do you have computer access? Can you do some of these programs on the computer from over there?
I've completed a couple of them, sir. I've completed the DWI education. I've completed the DWI education. I've also completed the intervention program. I tried to register with the other two, the CAT/SNP and the intervention program, but it says you have to register in person.
Okay, I apologize. I'm a little hard of hearing, but I understand that you proactively finished the DWI education course. Is that true?
Correct.
And then the victim impact panel, did you look at that on the computer too?
Correct.
Yeah. And then what else? Something else too?
I've already completed that.
Those two things.
Just those two, sir.
Okay. You're also a reservist in the Air Force, are you not?
Correct, sir.
And do you do active duty for the Air Force from time to time also?
Yes, sir. I do my active duty in San Antonio.
Okay. Did the Air Force do anything to you when they found out that you had acquired this DWI problem?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did they send you through an APSI course or one of those military courses on drug alcohol rehabilitation?
No, Your Honor, they haven't. I mean, one, I wasn't able to drive on base because they restricted my driving for a year, which is finally up. And two, they were still waiting, I think, to see what happened.
Let's monitor what we're doing, Mr. Greaves, because we have some extenuating circumstances here. A, we all want you to keep doing what you're doing, and thanks for your service. But B, we don't want you driving and drinking on the highways of Texas anymore. So you fixed that for a few months right now, so that's all good. So the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of DWI first. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold a finding of guilt, place you on 14 months deferred adjudication, probation, assess a $500 fine, probating $100 of that plus court cost, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI intervention, which is going to be hard to do overseas, but it'll say on your calendar. So when you come back, as soon as you get back, within 24 hours, I want you to contact your probation officer and let him or her know that you're back. And I want you to do whatever you can. I understand you only got a couple of months plus or minus in the US before you go back and do this all over again. We just want a good faith effort that you're trying to knock all this stuff out. Fair enough?
Yes, Your Honor.
All good. DWI Victim Impact Panel, you get credit for proactively. Just provide proof of doing that to your probation officer. I'm going to order a Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, which is an outpatient drug program. If you can find one to do on the computer that's an equivalent outpatient drug program, I'll give you credit for it based on our circumstances. You need to do something. So feel free to talk to your attorney about that, and he can talk to probation or whoever he wants and see if he can come up with an online program that'll count for that. Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 7 months. When you're in the United States, you got to be on the Smart Start Mobile Interlock. When you're not in the United States, I've got your word, you're not drinking, and you're under the military rule not to drink. So I'm not worried about you there. And once again, you're getting proactive credit for DWI education and the Victim Impact Panel. You just need to provide proof to your probation officer you've done those things. What did I miss, State?
You got it all, Judge.
What did I miss, Defense?
Just one thing, Judge. He currently has the ignition interlock in his vehicle. Even though he's overseas, he's still paying for it. Can he remove it now that once he starts the Smart Start mobile device, once he gets back to the States, he'll jump on the mobile device?
That was just a clever defense ploy to make me think he was still in the United States. Nice try, Mr. Barrera. So yes, he can take that off. He's only required to have one when he is physically in the United States. But once again, we don't know when you're coming back. You're going to need to keep your probation officer advised. And I understand you may not even know exactly when you're coming back sometime. But within 24 hours of getting back, you need to contact your probation officer and tell him or her you're back. And then we'll see what you've got left on your program to do. And we'll start working on those. Is that fair?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
And Ms. Barrera, you got anything else?
That's it for me, Judge.
Okay, and I expect Mr. Greaves to throw a non-alcoholic party with all this millions of dollars of money he's making on the taxpayer dollar over there. So well done. Are you working on aircraft? What are you doing over there? If you can tell me.
I'm an aircraft mechanic for the Air Force as a contractor out here.
Thanks for your help, sir. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Greaves?
None from the defense, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Barrera. Cause number 635740, Miss Mora.
Judge?
Yeah.
Did you mention my day?
Monday.
No, my guy, Herrera.
I said Mora, Gammon.
Oh, not only do I talk weird, I also can't hear.
That would be correct. So, my Mr. Herrera some other time. Is that what everybody understands?
Your Honor, Mr. Herrera is on, but he does not have audio. So I don't know how, unless he fixes it between now and the time we finish.
Cameron, if y'all can work that out today and the possibility exists, you can get him on your cell phone and put it on speaker, and we can, talk to him sort of through you on that we.
He's already on my cell phone on speaker, Judge. You want me to put it up to the?
No, not yet.
Gammon, sit tight for a minute. We're still in the middle of my last set of pleas, and we're going to start on you guys. So hold short.
Okay, sorry for the interruption.
No problem. 35740, State of Texas versus Amanda Desiree Mora. And let's see. Here's a new charge. I thought I heard it all, but I haven't. Miss Mora, to the charge of being intoxicated while working at a liquor retailer store. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Miss Mora?
1 day in the Bexar County Jail, $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. And we ask this be a JSAT, Judge.
Is that correct, Stan?
That's correct. That's Ms. Mora's main concern, is that she owes no money and no time and is done with this case.
I've never heard of that offense before.
I'm sorry.
Miss Mora, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of being intoxicated while working at a liquor retailer. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Mora?
No, Judge.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Ms. Mora. Thank you, Mr. Montgomery.
Thank
Maura,
you.
you're done. If you have any questions, give me a call.
No, I'm good now. Or do I need to do anything else? Or
That's
I
it.
honestly don't know what I'm supposed to do next.
We're finished, Amanda. You're done.
I can go
You
back to
call me
bed.
and talk to me. Yes, you can go back to bed.
All right, all good on that. Okay. Did we get Mr. Mendez or Mr. Guerra Mendez back yet?
Let me go into a breakout room, the breakout room. You go ahead and I'll find out what's going on with them, Your Honor.
Okay, Cameron, let's go back and talk about Mr. Herrera on 636627. Do you think you can get him on the cell phone and that we can do a commo check and make sure that we can hear what he says on the Zoom channel?
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Herrera, can you hear us?
Yes, sir.
Can you hear him, Judge?
I can.
Yes, sir, I can hear you.
Okay. Wait till you're asked questions. We'll go from there.
Okay, sir.
Okay, hang on a second. Let me get my batting order down here. Okay, we got cause 636627 in the Texas versus Alfredo Alejandro Herrera. Cause 646296 state of Texas versus Jamie Lee Kenworthy. And Mr. Herrera is represented by Mr. Gammon Gwynn. Mr. Kenworthy is represented by Mr. Paul Mosquez. Cause 651887 state of Texas versus Jonathan Rene Sanchez, represented by Kirby Whalen. And last but not least, cause 640305 state of Texas versus Ismael Rosas Jr., represented by Bo Wood. Each of you, I'm now looking at a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference that purports to have your signature and your attorney's signature on it. Mr. Herrera, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Gammon, is your signature?
I'm sorry, Judge. I can't hear you. Hold on. Let me turn it up. Okay, Judge, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is this your signature on this document, Gammon?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Mr. Kenworthy, is this your signature on this document?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
it is.
Ms. Kenworthy, thank you. And Mr. Voss, attorney for Ms. Kenworthy, is this your?
It is.
Thank you. Mr. Sanchez, is this your signature on this?
Yes.
Mr. Whalen, attorney for Mr. Sanchez, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, it is.
Thank you. And Mr. Rosas, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, it is.
Mr. Wood, as attorney for Mr. Rosas, is this your signature on this document?
Yes, sir.
Next document I'm looking at is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonition. It purports to have each of your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. In fact, Mr. Herrera, is this your signature on this document?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. And question for Ms. Kenworthy. Ms. Kenworthy, is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Sanchez. Mr. Sanchez, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes.
And same question for Mr. Rosas. Is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes.
Thank you. By signing this document, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read this document or have it read to you in its entirety? If you had any questions about what was on this document, those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. Good. And signing this document, understand everything on this document. Is that correct, Mr. Herrera?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Kenworthy?
Yes, that's correct.
Is that correct, Mr. Sanchez?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Is that correct, Mr. Rosas?
Yes.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr. Herrera, Have you had enough time to go over the case with him? Your opinion is he?
Yes and yes, Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Same question for Attorney Sanders.
Judge, if that was to me, yes and yes.
Yeah, thank you, Paul. Same question for Attorney for Mr. Sanchez. Mr. Whalen.
Yes to both, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Attorney for Mr. Rosas. Mr. Wood.
Yes and yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Herrera, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Herrera.
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Kenworthy.
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mr.
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mrs. Rosas.
Yes.
Attorney for Mr. Herrera, has the state fully complied with this discovery?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Yes.
Same question for Attorney for Ms. Kenworthy.
Yes, they have.
Thank you. Same question for Attorney. Whalen, can
Mr.
you?
Rosas, you need to mute your phone.
Gotcha.
Mr. Whalen, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Have you had full discovery from the state on Mr. Sanchez's case, please?
Yes, I have.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Woods, as attorney for Mr. Rosa.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Herrera on cause 636627 to the charge of theft, $100 to $750. How do you plead, sir?
No contest.
Thank you. Is there an agreement for Mr. Herrera?
Yes, Your Honor.
1 day in the Bexar County Jail, $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent, TIC cause number 638891, and we ask this be a JSAT.
And that's correct, Mr. Gwynn.
Yes, Your Honor, it is.
Right where Mr. Herrera's here. I'm trying to weed you all out. All right, here we go. We gonna have any more problems, Mr. Herrera?
You're not going to get any trouble, right?
No, sir.
All right, that's a good answer.
No trouble.
Got it, baby. All right. Mr. Herrera, the court accepts your plea of no contest to defense of theft, $100 to $750. I find you guilty. I assess 1 day in the Bexar County Jail, a $200 fine plus court costs, credit for time served, time and money to run concurrent. Take into consideration clause 638891, which is granted and it shall be dismissed. Judgment satisfied. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Herrera?
No, Judge.
No, Your Honor.
Good luck, Mr. Herrera. Thank you, Mr. Gwynn.
May I be excused?
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You all have a safe, healthy, and beautiful day.
Have a nice, wonderful day.
Let's see. Here we go. Okay, on cause 646-296, State of Texas versus Jamie Lee Kenworthy. State, do you have a motion?
Yes, Judge. This started out as a DWI 0.15 or higher. The state moves to add a count 2 of obstruction, waive count 1, and proceed on count 2.
Objection from the defense.
No objection.
Okay, state's motion to amend the information, adding count 2, or paragraph, count 2, alleging obstruction of the highway, no objection from the defense is granted. State then moving to waive count 1 and the enhancement, no objection from the defense is granted. Therefore, Ms. Kenworthy, clause 646-296 to the charge of obstruction of a highway. How do you plead, ma'am?
No contest.
State, is that acceptable? Normally you require guilty, but it doesn't matter to me.
That's fine, Judge.
Is there an agreement for Ms. Kenworthy?
18 months deferred adjudication, $850 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Defense understanding is you.
That is our agreement, Judge, and just so you know, she has completed the victim impact panel, and she will provide the certificate of completion to the probation officer, but she has completed it.
Okay, all good. Ms. Kenworthy, in clause 646-926, the court accepts your plea of no contest to the offense of obstruction of a highway. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. Place you on 18 months, deferred adjudication, probation. It says a $850 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, which you're going to get credit for because you did it proactively, as long as you provide proof of your completion to your probation officer. Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock for 9 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Ms. Kenworthy?
Nothing from the defense.
No, Judge.
Good luck, Ms. Kenworthy. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you. You can log off.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Sanchez. See where we're at on you.
Yes, sir.
Hang on just a second. This started out as a DWI first. Is that correct, State?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Is there an agreement for Mr. Sanchez?
6/12, $300 fine plus court costs, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Is that correct, defense?
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Hey, Judge, I have a quick question.
Sure.
What if I don't have a car? Do I still got? How do I do that?
If you don't have a car, that's why we're giving you this portable device. You don't even need a car.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Awesome. Okay. Great. Okay.
That way I can monitor you 24 hours a day so you don't get colorful on me.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you, boss.
Okay. Mr. Sanchez, the court accepts your of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated, first offense. I find you guilty. I assess 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $300 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, Community Alliance for Traffic Safety New Intervention Program, and the Smart Start mobile device for 6 months. Anything further from the state or the defense on Mr. Sanchez?
No, sir.
All right, Mr. Sanchez. Thank you, Mr. Whalen.
All right, thank
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rosas. Let's see what we're doing with you. All right.
Yes, Judge. This started out as a DWI 0.15 or higher, and the state moved to waive the DWI first.
Okay, anybody that's not talking, go ahead and turn your microphone off. We're getting a lot of wind noise for some reason.
I think that's the defendant, Judge.
Yeah, that's probably me. It's kind of windy out here.
Okay, state. All you do is wait with your hands, right?
Correct, Judge.
He's gonna have to turn it off, Judge. I can't understand anything. Just turn it on.
Yeah, let me, I'm just going to walk to the other side of the building.
Come back, please. Get away if you have.
There we go. Is that better now?
Any word?
Excuse me, do you mind repeating it?
Mr. Rosas, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, I think it's working better. Thank you. Okay, so motion to waive the greater than 0.15 enhancement, no objection from the defense is granted. Therefore, Mr. Rosas, to the charge of driving while intoxicated, first offense, how do you plead, sir?
Guilty.
Thank you. You're in agreement for Mr. Rosas.
6/12, $500 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, DWI education, DIP, CAD SNP, $60 to DPS, and Smart Start Mobile for half the term.
Are you understanding the agreement? Mr. Wood, can you hear me?
Yes, Judge.
Now you're understanding the agreement, sir?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right. Mr. Rosas, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated first offense. I find you guilty.
Judge, I lost everything you said there.
Yeah, I think Mr. Rosas just put it on mute so you can listen to him. There we go.
Judge, you're gonna have to start over, okay?
All good. Mr. Rosas, in cause 640305, the court accepts your plea of guilty to the offense of driving while intoxicated first offense. I find you guilty. I said 6 months in the Bexar County Jail, probated for 1 year, a $500 fine plus court cost, 24 hours community service, DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, community alliance for traffic safety, new intervention program, outpatient drug, $60 in restitution to the Texas Department of Public Safety, and a Smart Start mobile device for 6 months. Anything further from the state of the defense on Mr. Rosa?
No, Judge.
Oh, is that
No,
right?
Your Honor. That's our agreement. Nothing else, Judge.
Thank you, Mr. Rosas. Thank you, Mr. Woods. Y'all are skewed.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, let's play. For
Your Honor.
Yeah.
Mr. Guerra Mendez, Joanne was involved in the breakout room. They're going to ask to reset so he can talk to the immigration for 2 weeks, and I let them go.
Sure. Okay, I've got cause 654-755 and 654-756, state of Texas versus James Nicholson III, represented by George Sharman. I've got cause 627-454, state of Texas versus Audrey Charles, represented by Austin Hagee. I've got cause 640-828, state of Texas versus David Herrera, represented by Mary Petrozek. And I've got cause 641-324 and 655-558, state of Texas versus Christopher Rose, represented by Derek Ritchie. These are all Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial diversion pleas and probation agreement. At this time, I'm going to ask each of you and your attorneys whether or not this is your signature on the document entitled Defendant's Consent to Plea by Video Conference. Mr. Nicholson, I have 2 of these for you. Are these your signatures on each, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Sharman.
I got kicked off there for a minute. Can you see me?
I got you back now. Are these your signatures on each of these defendant's consent to plea by video conference, George?
Yes.
All good. Mr. Charles, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Or is it Miss Charles? I'm sorry. And Mr. Hagee is attorney for Miss Charles. Is this your signature?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Mr. Herrera, is this your signature on this document, sir?
Judge, I believe Mr. Herrera was the one that's out of town.
So we'll put him off for a future time?
Yes, sir.
We can schedule him for next Thursday, Pat.
Good. All right, Mr. Rose.
We're having one on Monday, but if you want, we'll do that on Thursday, next Thursday. Give you time.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rose, I have 2 documents for you. Is this your signature on the consent to plea by video conference document on each?
Yes, sir, it is.
Thank you. Mr. Ritchie, as attorney for Mr. Rhodes, are these your signature on each of these documents, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. The next document I'm looking at for each of you is entitled Defendant's Waiver of Constitutional Rights and Court's Admonitions that purport to have your signatures on the back, effectively waiving certain constitutional rights you must waive in order to enter a plea before this court. Mr. Nicholson, I have 2 of these documents for you, one on cause 654-755 and one on cause 654-756. Is this your signature on each document, sir?
Yes, sir.
And Ms. Charles, I have cause 62454. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Rhodes, I have 2 documents for you, one in cause 641324 and one in cause 655558. Are these your signatures on each of these 2 documents, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. By signing these documents, are each of you telling me that you've had enough time to either read these documents or have them read to you in their entirety you had any questions about what was on these documents. Those questions were answered to your satisfaction by your attorney. So that in signing these documents, you're telling me that you agree with and understand everything on these documents. Is that correct, Mr. Nicholson, in both cases?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Is that correct, Ms. Charles?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. And is that correct, Mr. Rhodes, in both cases?
Yes, sir, it is. Thank you.
As attorney for Mr. Nicholson, have you had enough time to go over these cases with him? And in your opinion, is he mentally competent? Mr. Sharman?
Yes.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hagee, as attorney for Ms. Charles.
Yes, Your Honor.
Same question for Mr. Ritchie, as attorney for Mr. Rhodes, in both cases.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. Nicholson, are you a United States citizen, sir?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Ms. Charles.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Rhodes.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. As attorney for Mr. Nicholson, has the state fully complied with discovery for you on both cases? Mr. Sharman.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Same question for Mr. Hagee.
Yes, Your Honor. They have.
Same question for Mr. Ritchie in both cases for Mr. Rhodes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Nicholson in cause 654-755 to the charge of unlawfully carrying a handgun. How do you plead, sir?
No contest, sir.
Court accepts your plea of no contest. Hold it in abeyance. And state, I didn't look at this real closely. All of these are track ones, are they not?
Correct, Judge.
All right, thank you. Court accepts your plea of no contest. Although I have enough evidence to find you guilty, I'm going to withhold the finding of guilt. I'm going to place you on, or I'm going to hold your plea in abeyance is what I'm going to do. For 1 year, place you on 1 year Bexar County Veteran Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial diversion, assessing $1,000 all-inclusive veteran treatment court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service. The, what is the second case we have here? DWI Education Court, DWI Victim Impact Panel, 6 months, Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock, outpatient drug treatment with the Veterans Administration or other designated VA providers, BTC provider. No restitution in this case, correct, state?
Correct, Judge.
Requiring successful completion of VTC, issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. At this time, Mr. Nicholson, I'm going to go over what is entitled. You want a gun safety course too, right?
Correct.
Yes, sir.
What did you do in the military, Mr. Nicholson?
I was a fireman.
Fire department?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let's say if you're a Green Beret, I might waive the fire safety course. Not for firemen. Okay. I'm now looking at a document entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention. And there's a document for you on each one of these cases, cause 654-755 and 654-756, and they're both exactly the same. This document is a contract signed between you, your attorney, and the Bexar County Criminal District Attorney's Office, set contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites of your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on each of these documents, sir, for each case?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Sharman, as attorney for Mr. Nicholson. Is this your signature on each of these documents for each case?
Yes, Your Honor.
And I have a proposed alleged signature of Mr. Nicholas Murray, Assistant Criminal District Attorney, on both of these cases. And I assume, Ms. O'Connor, that that is a valid signature?
Correct, Judge.
Okay. And in cause 654-756 of the charge of driving while intoxicated first offense, Mr. Nicholson, how do you plead?
No contest.
Accept your plea of no contest. I hold it in abeyance, place you on 1 year Bexar County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial intervention. Setting a $1,000 all-inclusive veterans treatment court fee. 48 hours community service, providing all that based on your military service. DWI Education Court, DWI Victim Impact Panel, 6 months Smart Start Mobile Home Interlock, outpatient drug evaluation and treatment with the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider, successful completion of VTC, judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. Cause number 654-755 and 654-756 will run concurrent with each other. We got a handgun. What kind of handgun do we have, Mr. Sherman? Do you know?
I don't know the nature of the gun, but Mr. Nicholson has asked me if we could hold that in abeyance pending his completion of the program as well.
Normally don't do that, but what kind of gun is this thing, Mr. Nicholson?
Yes, sir. It's a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield.
Okay, normally state, you consider the defendant losing his handgun as part of the punishment in your plea bargains. I don't know what you've done on this one. What do you want to do?
Motion to forfeit the weapon, Judge.
Okay. With the state's permission, I'm going to deny the state's motion to forfeit the weapon, but I'm going to order the weapon awarded to the defense counsel, additional attorney's fees, not to be returned to the defendant, his family, or his friends.
Judge, I really can't do that. I would prefer not to do that if there's a way to hold it otherwise, but I don't want to have possession of that weapon.
All right, then we're either going to destroy it or award it to a law enforcement agency. Fair enough. All right, what else do we need to do on Mr. Nicholson?
Judge, I presume that the $1,000 tuitions run concurrently. There's only one.
Everything runs concurrent. I agree.
Okay.
Mr. Nicholson, you got any questions, sir?
No, sir. Well, yes, sir. I had a few firearms in my trunk that were not involved in the incident, but they were confiscated by the police department. I just want to see if those were held as property and not as evidence, if I could retrieve those.
You say there were firearms in your trunk?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, any lawful firearms in your trunk that haven't been reported stolen, you get back. No problem.
Understood. Thank you.
It's only if you carry something on or about your person that the state gets so excited.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Sharman, you give me some sort of order on that. We'll return those to the defendant whenever you're ready.
I'll check with him and get an order from the court, Judge.
All right. Anything further from the state of the defense of Mr. Nicholson?
No, Judge.
Nothing further from the defense.
Thanks for your service, Mr. Nicholson. Okay, Mr. Charles. Ms. Charles, the charge of driving while intoxicated with a blood or breath alcohol content of 0.15 or higher. How do you plead, ma'am?
Guilty, Your Honor.
Court accepts your plea of guilty. Hold it in abeyance. Thank you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial intervention, assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee. 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service. DWI education course, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug treatment, or evaluation and treatment with the Veterans Administration or a designated VTC provider, requiring successful completion of the VTC. Issue judge's bond, defendant to be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. And that looks like that took care of that. At this time, Ms. Charles, I'm looking at a document titled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention with the contract. By between you and your attorney and the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office, set contract setting out all the requirements and prerequisites for your successful completion of the Veterans Treatment Court. Is this your signature on this document, ma'am?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. Hagee, as attorney for Ms. Charles, is your signature on this document?
Yes, Your Honor.
And once again, Ms. O'Connor, I have a signature purported to be Mr. Maru's on this document. Can you identify that as Mr. Maru's signature?
Correct, Judge.
Thank you. Okay. Charles, the court accepts your plea of guilty, holding in abeyance, place you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court Track 1 pretrial intervention, assessing $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service, probating all that based on your military service, DWI education, DWI victim impact panel, 6 months Smart Start mobile home interlock, outpatient drug with the Veterans Administration or designated VTC provider, successful completion of VTC, issue judge's bond, defendant be supervised by CSCD and VTC staff. All good on all that. State, what did I miss? Whatever. I think we're good. Ms. Charles? Or,
Sure.
what did you do in the military, ma'am?
I was field artillery for the 82nd.
Oh my goodness. How many jumps you got?
Through tandem, I've got 3, and then through static line, 32.
Out of my mere 109 jumps, 98 worked really well, and the rest were a little hairy.
Yeah, I got medically discharged because of one bad jump.
Thanks for your service, man. Airborne.
Absolutely, airborne.
Okay, Ms. Hagee, what else we got? Anything else we need to do for Miss Charles?
No, Your Honor, I think that's all we got.
She's a paratrooper. Don't anger her.
I've been very careful.
Right.
All right, good luck, guys. Thanks for your help.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Rhodes, I got two cases for you, 641-324 and 655-558. And let's see. ABI, terroristic threat. Okay. Rhodes, in clause 641-324 to the charge of assault, bodily injury, married. How do you plead this, sir?
Guilty, sir.
Okay. Court accepts your plea of guilty, hold it in abeyance, places you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial intervention. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours community service, DOEP course, APSE course, BIPP course, AFFV. State, what does AFFV stand for?
Affirmative finding of family violence, Judge.
Oh, well, if he's got a pretrial intervention program, I don't think we can legally make an affirmative finding of family violence unless he's convicted of the crime. Is that not your understanding?
Yes, Judge.
Had a good carrot to hold in front over his head, so he's not going to get in any trouble. So he makes sure he doesn't get that.
Correct, Judge.
All right, that's being held in abeyance. No problem. No harmful or offensive contact with Candace Rhodes. I assume that's your wife. Is that correct, sir?
Ex-wife, yes, sir.
And are y'all getting along okay now?
We do not speak, sir.
Okay.
I have 2 years until I can speak with her, but I do have contact with the children.
Okay. How old are your kids, sir?
I have 5. They're 12, 10, 8, 6, and 1 years old, sir.
That's your own fire team. Okay.
Yes,
Is San Antonio correct?
I am in San Antonio, yes, sir.
Y'all don't live together. That's correct, right?
They are in College Station, sir.
All right. BTC treatment and completion. And if you need help in ensuring you get your child visitation, let us know, because the Hoyles has an expertise in that particular area.
Thank you, sir.
We get that going. All right. So we got that going. And let's go to 655-558. The charge of terroristic threat of family. How do you plead, sir?
Guilty, sir.
Okay. Court accepts your plea of guilty, hold it in abeyance. Once again, places you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial intervention. Assessing a $1,000 all-inclusive Veterans Treatment Court fee, 48 hours of community service. The exact same requirements. Let's see what this one is. As the last case, DOEP, APSC, BIPP, and the affirmative finding of family violence for holding in abeyance. No contact, harmful, or offensive with Candace Rhodes, and any recommended Veterans Treatment Court outpatient treatment through either the VA or a VTC provider. At this time, sir, I'm looking at 2 documents, both entitled Track 1 Pretrial Intervention, which are contracts signed between you and your attorney in the Bear County Criminal District Attorney's Office. Said contracts setting out all the prerequisites and requirements of your successful completion of the VTC. Hang on, guys. Sorry. Supposed to be turned off. Are these your signatures on both of these documents, sir?
That is correct, sir, yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Ritchie, as attorney for Mr. Rhodes, is this your signature on both of these documents?
Yes, it is, Your Honor.
And once again, Ms. O'Connor, I show Mr. Nicholas Maru's signature on each of these documents, and I assume you can identify that as actually Mr. Maru's signature.
Correct, Judge.
Okay. So, clause 655-558. Once again, court accepts your plea. Guilty, hold it in abeyance, placing you on 1 year Bear County Veterans Treatment Court, track 1, pretrial interventions, setting a $1,000 all-inclusive VTC fee. The specific programs that we already outlined that are going to be for each case. Both of these cases are going to run concurrent, 655-558 and 641-324 for all reasons. And that's what I got. State, what did I miss?
You got it all, Judge.
Defense, what did I miss?
I think you got everything, Judge.
Mr. Rhodes, what else can we do for you?
I'll have a wonderful day.
All right. Are you working these days? What are you doing?
I'm retired, sir. I was medically retired, 100% disabled.
What did you do in the military?
I was a United States boatswain mate, first class, sir.
Wow.
U.S. Navy.
What did you do in the Navy?
I was combat coxswain, sole craft.
Did you get to go to any wars?
I got to do a little bit of work, but nothing too much.
Okay. Thanks for your service, sir. Best of luck. We can help you, Liz.
Yes, sir. Thank you for yours as well.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Richard.
Thank you, Judge. Have a good day.
Okay. Josh, over to you. I guess Ron.
Yeah, Ron will be calling all of them right after this is done.
Your Honor, I'm going to take us off of YouTube, and I don't know whether Mary